Thank you, Rohan and team, for having me and giving me the opportunity to speak and put my thoughts onto this. So, of course, I would start it with the audiences to check, as in how many of us would think that what does a one-man show would have. Maybe you can write in the YouTube chat or wherever, and we can. Meanwhile, we'll just take it from there. Because, for example, somebody would say, "ठीक है, you need to operate." Somebody would say that you are probably just seeing patients. So let me just give you a very brief idea. It is not only that. Apart from that, I am also, or rather, one has to take care of the staff, the legal aspects, the taxation. So basically, as the saying goes, it is all about the administration. And I think Himanshu sir has given a very good brief idea that it's actually a little tough job. So I would just go a little into administration. So what is administration? So the word per se, the dictionary meaning is derived from a Latin word called administre, which means to care for or look after people, to manage affairs. It has its own nature. It is universal. It has a holistic approach. It's a continuous and ongoing process. It is goal oriented. Social and human nature about it is automatically there, and it is very dynamic thing which has to be keep on innovating about it. So a small mnemonic as to how would what all elements would be there in administration. So of course it starts from planning, organizing, having the staffing done. Directing is again one of the very important aspects in administration. Coordinating, being available. I would still quote my boss, Professor Amar sir, for any time of the day. If he's up and above, you drop him a message, he would come back to you. So he was so well connected amongst all of us that it just with a blink of moment he used to come back to us. So this was something which I would wanted to come back to my staff and do it. Reporting, and of course budgeting. And most important, probably it's not mentioned, the availability, of course, about you being the head of the institute. What so doctor and administration should be, I personally feel that it should be a subject in our curriculum. In the huge course of 4.5 years, we've been taught everything: compassion, empathy towards patient, how to deal and talk to them. But there has to be a small scope of administration there, because a lot of people are getting into hospital administration after doing their MBBS. So something probably we have been growing up with, seeing, especially seeing our working moms, the basic skills. That's why I put this picture here. They are managing it so well. So maybe we have to learn from there. And at times in the last, it depends on what are you actually looking at to all the young buds who are with us, the upcoming budding ophthalmologist. So what's your goal? What are we really looking at? Either we want to join a corporate wherein the numbers come in handy, or we come up an idea of having a private practice wherein the capital per se plays a very important role, or maybe join an elder generation ophthalmologist. You become the second generation, which has its own merits and demerits. So what is it you want to achieve, and what want to be a part of game, or you want to create your own game, is something. I'll leave a question so that the audience can have an answer to that in the chat box. So what are we really looking at? We actually are looking at the happiness, the quotient that is very important, the social connections, the financial security, the acceptance and empathy, the work-life balance. So we don't want to forcibly smile. This guy is trying to put, that somehow we have to do it. So merits or demerits. It's an ongoing process. Just imagine, like you were in college a few years back and you were trying to pull up a fest or something. You want to do it by yourself, everything, or you want to have a committee about it and, get it done. Whatever happens, it grows gradually. Year by year, it takes its own sweet time. So for me, I will start with the merits. You are the decision maker here. You are the boss. You know what calls to take, when to take. It of course improves the efficiency and productivity when the quality control comes under you. You connect with all the staff at the grassroots level. Starting from the doorman to the housekeeping to the if you have a bigger setup, to the floor managers, hospital managers, and everybody who comes into play. Well trained in crisis management, you have the capacity and capability of managing all the kind of crises irrespective of your professional commitments. As I said, quality management is totally under your control, and this is the check, because may it be a corporate, may it be a self setup, this has to play, because after doing a good surgery or giving a correct eye power or treating the patient well, if he or she is not very happy with the qualities and the atmosphere offered, he would not want to come at. He would certainly, or she would look for another option. Learning the mindset of all classes connects well with his or her patient clientele, of course, because you are dealing with all kind of people, and less legal formalities because you are the one who's responsible for everything happening under your roof. Demerits, it can be extremely stressful. It certainly is. You are suing a patient, you're probably counseling him for a nice IOL and a premium patient, and one of your staff comes in and says ki that particular AC is not working, that something stuff is happening, or that CA is calling to check as to he hasn't received certain bills. So it bothers you. There is a hell lot of waste of a professional time. Hampers your practice and growth. Of course, it is time consuming. You have to sit down for few more hours after even your professional commitment is done. Of course, the family life suffers because you will have to squeeze in your time from your family and give it to your profession. Wherein if you are managing the show and you're not ready to share the shoulders, it is leader dependent. Chaos in your absence. They are not able to handle. They are not handling, or rather they are not capable enough, or they don't feel that they can handle in your absence. From the staff's perspective, the decision making is slow. They are dependent on you. It creates a work culture based on leader ki theek hai, if he's there, he will manage the show. हम तो अपना काम करें and then we are good to go. It does not offer a sense of professional ownership to them. They don't want to take that pride that this is something which they are responsible to. They know what they are supposed to do. For example, out of 3, 2 optometrists are missing. So I'm operating and I get a call that how to start the OPD. Only one of the optometrists is there. So it tends to bother you in the OR as well, that okay, after finishing my OR, how would I run the show there. So if somebody is already assigned, he or she can probably take care of that. As to how the leaves would come, sometimes you don't remember, you give leaves to 2% at the same time, don't realize that. So in this study, there was this small thing wherein 47% they said that they have missed out on their social functions because of being over involved. Some said, almost 32%, that they lost their sleep over it. Only 6% said that they were very happy about it. So I'm sure the demerits come up a little more than the merits, so we have to learn to share shoulders. So very important thing is you need to have this balance wherein you work, play, be with the family, be with everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. At this moment, I'd like to bring in Dr. Anurag. Sir, your 2 cents about a one-man show.
Well, it's all sweetness all around, Rohan. I completely agree with Dr. Saurabh, and you have to present both aspects of the coin if you are presenting from a podium in a show like this, so that the messaging is clear and crisp. But since you asked for my 2 cents, it's obviously going to be my personal opinion. And my opinion is, if you have worked so hard in learning and becoming the one you are today, then there's no point why you should be working for somebody else. Work for yourself, lift yourself up, give yourself the trophy, climb up, and then root the flag there. I mean, it's all sweetness. There have been challenges. It's true that your family time gets compromised with, and you have different subjects to look at, and some of them are extremely difficult to stand by and support and then justify later on. But it has its own charm. It has its own nectar, and that nectar is what we all work for. So I get it more. I have the exposure to both the worlds, working in an institute and then starting on my own, and I have enjoyed the nectar from my own private practice because it's always tasted sweeter to me.
Thank you. Dr. Himanshu, sir, your experience, you've had about 35 years of experience in both. In fact, you have sort of done a private practice along with an institutional practice, which your city allows you to. So give us your sense of it.
What he said, Anurag said, it comes from the heart. He was saying absolutely from the heart. That smile, the confidence. You don't pass on the buck. You take the responsibility, you take the credit, and you take the discredit. The buck stops at you. And if you like taking that, there are 2 kinds of people. Glass आधा खाली आधा भरा है. There are people who are risk averse, and there are people who are high risk takers. I'm one of the high risk takers. So that's why we all became surgeons, actually speaking. But then in our department also, there are quite a few physician surgeons who always postpone surgery. अभी नहीं, बाद में देखेंगे. अच्छा रेटिना को दिखा दो. Some of them act like I'm sorry, but this is like a policeman at the signal. Go left, go right, go to pediatric, go to cornea, go to retina, go to glaucoma, go to this, that. Well, there is fun in interacting with patient. Most of us are alive here because of surgery and 2, interacting with patient. I think the biggest kick of life that we get is out of that. Otherwise, we would have become pathologist or radiologist if we are really introverts. And the advantage of private practice is, why not? If you're learning various techniques of surgery, Why wouldn't you in this lifetime learn everything else that you want to learn? It's beautiful. There is so much to learn, from finance to making a second livelihood. Go to the stock market, property investment. It's just fun. It's a great art. People spend their lives in it, and there's so much to learn. It's so much fun. You take it that way, it's fun. You take it as a responsibility, and that you've been punished by putting in one corner, well, so be it, then you'll feel like that. But I mean, you look at the confidence, the body language of Anurag, and you look at somebody who is working for somebody else. You can see the body language from the time they walk, talk, to the moment to deliver. There's a huge difference in that. You can make out from far off. So, well, I am for that. I've been fortunate that I've been with institutions, and I'll tell you the institutions. Nanavati, Leelavati, two major institutions of the country. Believe me, a lot of my colleagues who started in their life, they've been thrown off in life without any questions when the management changed. So you are a disposable commodity anytime over there. This is going to hurt, but it's a fact of life. Poor neurosurgeons, poor cardiac surgeons, they have put in 30 years of practice in a particular hospital, and one fine day, they realize a new team which has come up and they have no significance. It hurts big time, because you haven't, at first they'll cut your wings out. They will tell you that you can't practice this, you can't do this, you can't do that. They'll cut your wings. And then now once you are dependent on them, I'll give you examples what they do in other hospitals. If a surgeon, if a consultant becomes popular, the PR team downstairs automatically guides patients to a newer person, and or says you can't get Dr. Mishra's appointment for next 3 months. He's very good, no doubt, but he's very busy. Why don't you try the new doctor? Dr. Himanshu Mehta has just joined the clinic and he's good. Why don't you try? This is how, without you understanding, the floor starts slipping under your leg. You wouldn't know what's happening. And I've seen it myself with hospitals with Nanavati. Suddenly your OPD would go down and somebody else starts getting it. So these are things where you are a replaceable commodity in the world, and you are in a hospitality industry. So you have to strike a very thin line of balance here, whether you want to do it on your own, take the world on your own and fight it out. It is fun. Or you want to be protected by institutions, you don't want to buy equipment, you don't want to have capex, you don't want to have anything else. That's how you would look at it then. That's what I'm saying.